Hey guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day. My name is Kasim, I'm 21 and I did not go to university and I do not regret it one bit. In fact, I think it's probably one of the things I'm most grateful for in my life is that I had the strength and that God made me realise when I was 17 or 18 in high school that university, the normal 9 to 5 path wasn't for me, and I had this feeling inside of me that I would stop at nothing to make sure that my life wasn't going to turn into an average life. So in this video, I wanted to tell you guys the story of how this happened, of how I actually managed to not go to university, what I actually did instead of that, and how it's given me the life that I have right now. So to give you some context, the last 3 to 4 years for me, ever since I didn't go to university, when I was 18 I left high school, I've had alhamdulillah, I've had a pretty amazing life. It's been pretty insane. I could never have dreamed that I've been living the life that have been in the last 4 years. I've done the things that I have done. I'm going to go through obviously in the video, but in short, I was able to move to Dubai at 18 when I turned 18 while I was still in high school. Pretty much from there, have complete financial freedom, do whatever I want, have the business of my dreams, know exactly the path that I'm going to go down to reach $1 billion by the age of 30. Travel around the world, lived all around the world, pretty much wherever I wanted to, and everything else. I've had a lot of crazy experiences. Granted, it wasn't always up. There's a lot of downs, but it's been amazing. So to take it back to the start, it started kind of this whole process, this whole idea of not going to university and then creating the life that I actually wanted to create for myself was when I was 17. And it was a time in school, in high school, where it was the second last year of high school, and you kind of had to start thinking about what you wanted to do in university and what course you want to do, what path you want to go down, what career you want to have. Now, I always said that I wanted to do computing, not for the sake of that I liked computing. I actually didn't like it at all. I only said that I wanted to do that because I knew that in the back of my mind, okay, I want to get rich. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I guess computing, tech, software, whatever, like that whole space or industry is probably a good path. So let's maybe just like suck it up. Even though I don't like computing or software development, let's just do whatever it takes, get into that industry. And my idea back then, which I soon realized to be completely false, was that maybe I go to university, get a good degree in computing, work in a tech company, work there for however long, work up the company for like 3-4 years, then start my own company in tech and on software, whatever it may be, then get rich. And then that was my dream, so I was kind of happy with that. I was excited, so I stuck to that. I chose them as my subjects, and then where I realized this was all going to go wrong, and my whole idea on life and perspective on life and what my life was going to be was crushed, was I got what I wanted. I got into this thing called a degree apprenticeship, which is pretty much in Scotland or in the UK. It's this kind of like a concept where you go to university, you get a degree like normal in computing, which is what I was going to get it in, and you also work at a big company for like 3 days a week, and obviously they pay you to work there as well. So I was like, oh, this is crazy, bro. I'm going to get paid 20k, I think it was 19k a year for 4 years, get my degree, get a secure job in a big bank, which is called Barclays. I went through the whole interview process, worked hard, did all my exams, all blah, 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 till I was 17. And then I asked the interviewer, so this is my idea in life. So, how's it been for you? Because this interviewer from the company, Barclays, that was interviewing me, had been working there for like 20 years. And he was like, oh no, that's not really how it works. I've been in the company for like 15, 20 years, but all that really happens is that you just kind of move around departments. You don't really move up the ladder. You don't become the whatever CEO or CTO. That's not how it happens. And ever since I heard that, like after that call I had with that guy, my whole perspective and dream on what I wanted to have in my life just was crushed, and it kind of spiraled me a little bit in a downwards sense. And I knew from there, okay, I need to figure something out, because this is not, my life is going to, in my eyes, be completely worthless and pointless if I go down this path. It was almost like from that point onwards, the option of having a 9 to 5 life and a normal life just was off the table. There was just no way. I literally said to myself at the time, I remember, I'd rather join the military, or like be in the army and be a soldier, than have a 9 to 5 life. Despite the money, I would rather just give my life away to being a soldier than fucking working 9 to 5 for the rest of my life and try to work up that path of life. So then it sparked kind of like, okay, I need to make money and I need to get rich. How do I do this? So obviously 17, it was also the first lockdown in the UK when the pandemic happened, 2020 this was. So this was after I turned 17, this is the timeline wise, this was January 2020. And obviously first lockdown, I was in the house most of the time, no school in terms of like going into school. So I spent every day, all day on YouTube searching up how to start an online business, how to make money online, how to get rich online, what business to start, all these different things. And I spent every day, all day on YouTube for at least 2-3 months. Not really doing anything with it, just researching, just looking at videos, watching videos. I looked at dropshipping, Amazon, FBA, trading, Forex, like everything that pretty much is online. I found and looked into, but none of them ever stuck for me. None of them ever really, I never really aligned with them. I never really wanted to start any of those, like dropshipping or Amazon FBA or trading. And obviously as well, I had no money, and I couldn't ask for money either. I had no savings from anything in the past. Had no job till to this day. I've never had a job. So yeah, I had no way of paying for something or investing to something. So it had to be a business that I could start, that I could be successful with no money and obviously no knowledge or skills in anything. So I eventually came across something, a business model, and back then it was called SMMA, Social Media Marketing Agency. Now that sparked an interest in my mind, because what the guy was talking about in the video that I found was you don't need any money, you don't actually do the work, you just sign clients, you pay somebody else to do the work, and that's it. You know, you can sign clients on for a monthly payment, monthly retainer, and it means you get cash flow, it means you don't have to invest anything, somebody else is doing the work so you don't have to know what to do, and that's it. So I was like, okay, sick. I was still 17 at this point, it was about February. I was like, okay, this is it, I'm going to do this. This is the one. Like, I got so excited. I remember the feeling that I had of like, I found it, this is the business model that I'm going to do, after spending like months trying to find one. And this is where kind of shit kind of went a bit south, you know. I was getting started, and obviously I had no money to obviously the guy that I was watching had a course, all right? So obviously instinctively as a 17-year-old, you're easily getting sold onto the guy's course. So I wanted to join it, obviously, at the time. I'm glad I didn't, but I couldn't, you know. I asked my parents for money. I went to my parents at this time and told them, look, I found this business model. I really want to start it. I know I can make it work. And all this kind of stuff. And they just completely shut it down. They, obviously being Asian, even more extreme than probably some white parents, like completely shut down, got angry even at the fact that I asked for money to join a course, or that I even told them that I'm going to start a business when it was obviously an important time in high school with exams and whatever else. And yeah, from there onwards, it really, I got so really in a negative state. I was almost not depressed, but I was so negative about my life. Like, how can my parents not support me? We got into arguments so often, and it sort of like our relationship got really bad. And then then I thought from there, okay, let me tell my friends in high school. Let me tell them I found this business model. This is how it works. Even though I'm 17, you can hire somebody else. You can do outreach, send on a client for like 1K a month, 2K a month, whatever it may be, and then do a service for them. And then as soon as I went to my friends, shut down again. They all said, just shut up, it's pointless, what you're wasting your time on. They laughed, made fun of me, got bullied. All said, why would somebody with a business pay a 17-year-old, you know nothing, and all this stuff again. So this was a point where I think it's most people most young guys or young women who want to start a business, this is kind of like the inception point. This is like, are they going to make it or are they not going to make it? It's when they take it to their surrounding environment, their parents, their friends, their family, whoever it may be, and whether they get their support or not of the parents and their friends, and usually is the make or break point for the majority of people who want to start a business, who want to create their own life and not just like live the life that the world is telling them to live or their parents are telling them to live. This is the point that most people break. But luckily, I just had this will inside of me that there was no option of going to university for me. I'm not having that life. I don't even know what it really entails. But as much as I knew as a 17-year-old was enough for me to be like, nah, it's not me for me. That's not who I'm built to be. And also as well, it was a time for me when I started to realize and become aware of the fact that my family were going through quite a lot of like financial trouble. My parents did really well to shield it from me my whole childhood. But we went through some big problems, some big moves in our life, where moving house and losing houses and whatever else, where we went through a lot of problems, and I never knew why, never really realized why, or never cared. But then when I was 17, I started to realize, okay, there's something that has to happen in our family, because if we keep continuing down this path, I don't know where we're going to be, and it won't be good, because financially we weren't in a good situation. And I could see my parents struggling more and more and getting into arguments about it and whatever else it may be. And I have two sisters. They weren't going to do anything about it, bless them. But yeah, there was no other option. My two parents didn't have a job. My dad always tried things, didn't always work. And my mom didn't work either. So I was the only option left. I was the only way that our family could actually have the life we want to have, and even just be secure, just be financially secure. So that's what I think gave me the willpower to not let anybody come in the way of my dreams. So then from there, it started the process of me, at least what I thought at the time, was taking action. I really got into it. I was like, okay, let me learn, let me do whatever I can. I obviously had no money to invest in any courses or any mentorships or programs or whatever. And obviously, looking back, I'm happy that I didn't. And I'll tell you why. But yeah, I just spent every day on YouTube researching. I spent like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, even more than that, building my website or some rubbish. I had no idea where I was going, had no guidance, had no course or whatever to go through to show me what to do. I just figured it out. And and this time as well, I kept everything private. Like, everybody thought that I just gave up. Everybody thought that I just let go of the business idea. But obviously, being lucky that it was lockdown, nobody really cared about me. I never really went out, never really had friends in that social life, so nobody really asked me about what I was doing. My parents, I just didn't really care. They didn't really care either. They just thought I was playing Xbox every day. So I was in my room. I stopped playing Xbox, and I just only focused on building my agency at the time. And yeah, it got to a point where I had zero support whatsoever. I was completely alone. And there was maybe 3 or 4 months of just pure procrastination. I spent like a month building my website, spent another month trying to figure out what to do, and there was no actual, the boat wasn't moving forward. I didn't make any money, didn't even do any outreach. It was just not working. Nothing was happening really, and I got really pessimistic. I started to say to myself, I remember saying to myself, this doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Maybe we're somebody else, but it's too saturated now, or it doesn't work anymore. It's the same excuses that you hear from everybody else, and the same excuses maybe you've said to yourself in the past too. So I was very pessimistic on life, and especially the business. But then out of nowhere, it was around 4 months after that, towards maybe June that year. So it'd be like 4 months after I got started kind of figuring it out and working on it. Something clicked, and it just clicked for me to where I haven't been doing anything that I need to do. And I need to start doing it. And I started actually doing the work that got me to the point of doing outreach. Then, the outreach meaning by you're approaching ideal clients. Then from there, actually talking to these clients, I booked in a few sales calls, closed a few of them. I was like, my first client was like £400, I remember. It was like a really bad jewellery store. And then from there, kept going up. And then out of nowhere, by September that year, it was the end of September, I'll put the screenshot up right now. By September that year, I hit 10k pounds, so like around 14k dollars. I was like, okay, wow. Like, I actually had no idea that I was making that kind of money. And obviously for me, money had no meaning because I never really used money in the past. It was just numbers on my bank account screen. That's all it was. So it wasn't like, oh, I can use this money now to do this and that. I didn't even know that I hit 10k a month until somebody asked me. I looked at my bank account from that month and I was like, oh, it has like 9 something K. I was like, wow, okay, I hit 10k a month. So then from there, I felt good. Again, at this point, nobody knew. No, my parents didn't know, friends didn't know, didn't tell anybody, kept it to myself. And that kept going for like 2-3 months more. I kind of stayed around 10k per month. I lost a client here, gained a client there. It was only like cheap clients, 1k, £500, 1.2k, 1.5k max. So not really a good business, but it was making me money. I wasn't necessarily enjoying it, but I was doing it. At that time, I was only thinking about the business. Like, okay, I need to make money. So how do I do it? I had team members, I had different, freelancers that I hired, all this kind of stuff, VAs. So it was a real business for a while. And then it eventually got to the point where it was around November that year. I was 17 still. And then I asked a friend, I joined a community online, a Facebook group of different agency owners, where they were, we keep accountable. It wasn't paid or anything, just like a free community. And I remember making a good friend, a guy that had seen me come up from being pessimistic and not really doing any work to then see me hitting 10k a month and then going on from there to do better and better and changing the way I was when I was 17. At this time as well, I was really focusing on changing the way I looked. So I was really fat as a kid. I can show you pictures. And then at the same time, I pretty much just lived in my own world. Obviously lockdown especially, and also in summer holidays. So nobody cared what I was doing. Nobody asked me what I was doing. I had no friends. Parents didn't care. So my routine was a madness. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. or something, especially during school. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., do some morning routine stuff, go to the gym, walk to the gym, 25-minute walk, go, do a workout at like 6 a.m. or 6:30, have a shower in the gym, then from the gym change into my school uniform, walk to school, do school, leave school at like 3:30, 4 p.m, then start a whole new day again. So like I do like a morning routine again at 4 p.m. Then get like 3, 4, 5 hours of work done, and then sleep, and then wake back up in the morning, do it all again. And I did that for months. And I also at this time really wanted to just not be fat. I was getting bullied my whole childhood for being fat. I really wanted to stop that happening. So I had this, like really cheap, rubbish, honestly, trainer, and he was like giving me this really terrible diet, which is just nothing. And I ate nothing for 6 months, but I was so determined to really change my life and really like lose the fat, get fit. But I just became skinny, and also then just make money. So I lived this life of like working out, eating not, like strictly to this diet that this guy gave me, which was like nothing, working every single day in the business, and having no distractions and no friends or no social life or no Xbox for like 6-7 months at least, from April until like September, October, November. And then in November, like I said, I had a friend that I made online, didn't ever meet him of course. He just moved from London to Dubai, and I said to him at some point in 2020, it was around October, November, whatever, I said to him, bro, like I made like 15, 20k, what should I be investing in? Maybe should I look into crypto or should I look into stocks? What should I be doing with this money? And he said to me this line that really changed things for me. And he said, bro, why don't you just invest in yourself? I'd move to Dubai, come when you turn 18, come to Dubai and just invest in yourself. And I was like, shit, maybe I should. So then again, at this point, my parents had no idea that I was making money at all. But at some point around November time, I had to tell them. It was around 3-4 weeks before I wanted to leave. I wanted to go to Dubai on my 18th birthday, or like a couple of days after. And obviously that caused a lot of arguments. It wasn't a good period. My parents were like, what do you mean go to Dubai? You're only 18 or 17 at the time, but you're only going to turn 18. What do you mean go to Dubai? With what money? All this kind of stuff. And obviously it was my mistake for not even telling them one thing about the business, about what I was doing, about the fact that I was making 10k a month. But I eventually had to show them. I showed them, okay, like I'm making this money, this is why I'm going to go. I'm going to pay for everything. I even said to them, I'll bring my sister with me. So I brought my sister with me at the same time as well, my older sister. So she came with me. And then, on like the 15th of December, my birthday was on the 12th, I went to Dubai. I flew there with no idea what was going to happen, with no idea how long I was going to stay, one-way ticket, and then just had no idea. I was just open to the fact of just doing whatever I thought was cool, So I went there and my whole life changed. Whole perspective on life just 180. I don't even know what you say for it. Like just blew up. My whole perspective on what I can do, what I can achieve, the things that I was doing. So to give you some examples, I'll throw up some videos of what I was doing back then when I was like just turned 18, when I first went to Dubai. But I had this crazy apartment, the 67th floor. You could see the whole of Dubai above the clouds. And then I was driving supercars for the first time. I didn't even have a license. I was driving supercars. Like not all the cars I wanted to drive, but a lot of the cars that I always dreamt of driving, I was renting them, I was driving my friends' cars, going on road trips, meeting all these like really cool people, becoming friends with like billionaires, multi-millionaires, and then one of the friends that really changed things for me was this friend who was only 1.5 years older than me at the time. I still is, obviously. So he was 20, I was 18 and a half, something like that. And he said to me, I became friends with him, and I realized he was a multi-millionaire, and he was only 1.5 years older than me. And my whole goal in life back then was like, I think the peak of what I can do is 1k a day. 30k a month will be nuts. Imagine I can make that kind of money. And I saw this guy who was like a year and a half older than me, who was a multi-millionaire, and I was like, okay, if this guy can do it, then surely I can do it. So then from there, my goal went from being just, I want to make 30k a month, which is my peak of life goal that I could ever thought of back when I was 18. I thought, okay, I'm going to become a millionaire. I have no idea how, but I'm going to become a millionaire. And I know that I can do it in the next few years. And then, that changed a lot. And then I had to go back home for exams, blah, 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 carried on from there, finished exams, didn't really do well in them, did a half average. Life would move on from there. Then from there in summer, I moved to London. The main reason I was still in like half and half with like, should I go to university? Because at this time, keep in mind, I've kind of sugarcoated it, but my parents were really angry. They were really not happy with the fact that I wasn't going to university. Obviously being Asian parents, it's like everything to them. It's like, if their kids haven't gone to university, it's failure. And they didn't really understand the fact that I had a business really. I told them here and there, but they didn't really fully understand it. They didn't understand how much money I was making. They didn't understand that I knew I could be a millionaire. I never really communicated it well, obviously, because I was kind of like, after that initial no support from them, I didn't really want to communicate anything to them. But at this time I was still kind of like in that fighting phase of my parents of like, should I go to university, should I not? So I went to London. I had a friend, again, from that community that I first ever joined. of agency owners. I met this friend for the first time in London, and he's a friend to this day. And we met for the first time. I got this crazy 4.5k a month pounds penthouse, you could call it, in Canary Wharf in London. Crazy views, like 4.5k a month. Like, it was so much money for the age I was. It was a waste of money, but it was needed to have that experience. I started going down a bit of a wrong path. I started partying. I started. The main reason was that I wanted to experience uni life. I wanted to like become friends with the people that were in uni already. See what life they lived and like live with them, not live with them, but like kind of like, you know, go to their like university dorm parties, hang out with them, see what would happen. And it was enjoyable for like 2-3 weeks or whatever, or maybe a month. But then I realized it hit for me, like if I actually live this life, if I genuinely, like I'm doing kind of like dipping my toes in right now. I have my own apartment, they come to me, I go to them sometimes when it comes to university dorms. But I'm not fully in it yet. But if I was to be fully in that environment of these university people, who just don't really care, they just party. Obviously they're getting their work done to some extent, but they're just partying. They don't really have any drive, they're not ambitious, all this kind of stuff. I realised if I really make this my environment, if I do go to university, my life will get fucked. I will destroy my life, I will destroy all the work ethic I built up, I will destroy the discipline that I built, I will ruin my ambition, everything will go to shit. And I realised that, but I was, even though I realised that, I was still kind of like half and half. My parents are so angry at me for not going to university, because obviously this now I'm 18, so it's kind of like the time where you have to apply to go to university. And I was still kind of like in a fighting phase with them. That's one of the reasons I went to London, to kind of escape that. And this one line, and this is one of the big takeaways from this video that I wanted to take away, that somebody told me at the time. I asked him, you know, how do I make this decision? You know, my parents really want me to go to university. I don't really want to go, but maybe I should just go. And my parents were saying to me, you know, just leave the business, do it after university. Even if you want to do business, you know, do it while you're in university, but just leave the business to the side while you finish uni, and you can do it after uni when you get a job. And I was like, nah, that I cannot waste 3-4 years of my life. Like 3-4 years of my life is a long time for me. You know, back then when I made so much change in my life within 6-7 months, thinking about 3-4 years of not making those changes again and again and again in different ways was like a nightmare for me. I was like, no way am I doing that. I'm not wasting 3-4 years of my life in a university in that environment. But I was still fighting that, you know, my parents hated me so much for, not hated me, but it was a really bad situation when it comes to like my relationship with them, and the way that I felt I was got into a bad way mentally. And yeah, my friend said to me at the time, a guy that I met said to me this line, and I want you to really think about this if you're in a situation anywhere near similar to what I was in, which is, do you really want to serve your parents, or do you just want to please them for the rest of your life? And I thought about that line for a few days, a few weeks, even months, and it really clicked for me. I was like, okay, if I want to be a man, if I truly want to take care of my family, if I want to be the man that I want to be, then I need to make the hard decision. I need to make the decision that won't please them at all, but it is the decision that's going to serve them. I know that, you know, starting this business, doing well with this business, creating my own life, doing things my way, not listening to what they want from me, not listening to what society wants from me, taking the risk, I guess you could say, is the way that I have to do it. It's the only way that I can truly serve my parents. Because if I, you know, God forbid, I actually did went down that route, or go down that route of like university and then 9 to 5, I wouldn't have been able to give my parents the life they have now and the life that they will have, and give my whole family and people around me that life. And I don't know where we'd be. Honestly, don't know. We'd be really struggling if I didn't make the money that I made. And even now, if I didn't make the money that I'm going to make, they'd still be struggling. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful, like I said, that I made that decision. And that one line was honestly the main reason as to why I made that decision. So from there, life, I just chose. I was like, university's gone, not happening. My parents weren't happy, but they just eventually became like, they just kind of accepted it. They couldn't really do anything about it. I just said no. I just didn't apply to university. I didn't even apply to university. I didn't even look at the application, didn't process the thing by the deadline. I was like, fuck it, it's gone. Need to focus on my life. So then from there, travelled the world pretty much from there. I just started living life again. Lived in London, travelled to Croatia, all these places. But at that time as well, I was going through a phase of my business life where I told you that I started kind of like what I guess you could say was an SMMA, social media marketing agency, back when I was 17. But I realised at that time as well, I was making money, it was good money, but then I realised this is not what's going to take me to being a millionaire, or like even, I don't even have a vision with this. Like this is not taking me down any sort of like long-term vision. So I really wasn't enjoying it either. Like all my clients were like 1K a month, 2K a month max. I wasn't doing any of the work, so I didn't even know really what I was doing. I didn't even know the services. I didn't like become an expert. I didn't like have any like real skills other than the business skills. I didn't learn anything. I was kind of just like signing clients, handing them off to a virtual assistant. That was it. So I really wasn't enjoying it, and it really wasn't aligning with me anymore, even though I was making some decent money. So I decided to cut the cord and just say I'm quitting. I just quit that business. I started from scratch, and I'm really glad that I did. And then from there, this is when I was 18 as well. From there, I built what's called a growth partner agency. Now, the reason I built this agency, to give you some small context, I made a whole video on this, which I'd recommend you watch after this video. But to kind of give you a small context, I kind of developed a bit of a long-term vision, which is where I knew that I wanted to be in the e-commerce industry. I wanted to build an e-com brand. I didn't know how I'm going to do it or what I was going to do or what it would be, but I knew that e-commerce was going to be a massive industry. You know, it's going to grow year on year and year on year. Especially it did massively during the pandemic. And I thought it was really cool, like having my own brand would be really cool. So that was the business for me. I was like, okay, I'm going to start that business eventually, and that's what's going to make me tens of millions. Now, the way, obviously, not going to university, not having a career, not having any experience at all with anything else, I needed to figure out a path to be able to get to the point where I have the money in forms of cash flow, and also have the skills, like my own skills and knowledge, to where I can start a brand and make it successful really quickly. So the only way that I could do that is by solving problems, a really big problem, for the type of company that I want to start in the future and getting paid a large amount for it. Because if I was getting paid a small amount for it, it wouldn't solve that first problem of not having the money. And if I wasn't genuinely solving a problem for them myself, I wouldn't have developed the knowledge or the skills. So then from there, I kind of like, I didn't know it because I didn't join any course or program. I didn't find this business model online. I just kind of developed it from my own experience, which I'm really lucky for. And I started this business, which I now call a growth partner agency. And it's where I partner with, for me, it was e-commerce brands, and I still is to this day. I partner with e-commerce brands and I help them grow through what I chose back then, which was going to be, and it is now, TikTok, content, social media, paid ads, all these different things, all these different aspects of what a brand would need to do to grow their brand and to get sales through TikTok, through social media, is what I said, okay, this is what I have to start, this is what I have to learn, and then provide and then solve for these brands. And then from there, it went really well. Within like 70-ish days, I hit 15K per month. I remember this one week where nothing was really happening for like at least a month in terms of like sales calls getting booked in or set clients getting signed. But then out of nowhere, on one Sunday, five sales calls get booked in with these massive leads, like crazy big companies that I could never think of signing on or working with. They book in a call. I had 5 calls in that week, and I closed all 5 of them. And then that was instantly taking me from zero revenue to 25K per month around revenue, so like 20K per month profit. And that was insane, straight away like that, and I really blew up from there. So every client that I signed was like at least 5K per month, and then grew up to 10K per month. I started taking rev share from my clients as well, so I was making like 5, 10, 15K per month from each client. And it was going amazing. And obviously, like I said, from there, traveled so much, Croatia, Mykonos, with my friends from Dubai and London, Croatia, Mykonos, road tripped around Europe in supercars with my best friends at the time, which was a crazy experience. I went to all different parts of Europe, Monaco, Italy, south of France, all this crazy stuff that you'd think you see on these luxury Instagram pages, those reels. I was living that life during that road trip. I moved to Dubai again properly, lived there for maybe 9 to 10 months in total through the winters. Went to Thailand, the Philippines, Bali as well. And during this time, I had a lot of what I would call maturing and spiritual growth. So I was at a point where I kind of had everything I wanted to, lifestyle-wise. I made the money, I had the lifestyle, I drove in all the cars. I didn't really want anything else, when it came to lifestyle. So I was kind of at a point where I kind of felt a little bit unfulfilled. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And then this sparked kind of an interest to want to learn more about spirituality. And out of nowhere, a friend I made at the time introduced me to kind of this type of monk. This whole spirituality, kind of I don't know what to call it, this whole not religion, but this kind of perspective of spirituality, which was kind of based off Buddhism and all that kind of stuff. So I got into it, doing these meditations, went to these meditation workshop kind of things every week with this guy. Eventually they started to get to know me, I started to become friends with them, and then after a few months, this was in London, I went to a retreat with these monks. I did like a week-long retreat in the forest, and I learned. Every day was like a proper meditation retreat. Wake up at 5 a.m, meditate for 4 hours, learn, meditate again, go for a walk, meditate again, and then sleep. And it was crazy. I learned a lot. But the biggest thing I learned from that experience was I asked them, because a lot of these monks as well were like, guys that were mega rich from either rich families or they just made a lot of money, and they gave up that life in some sense to be a monk. And I asked them, I really have everything that I want, but I don't feel happy. So how do I feel happy and fulfilled? How do I truly feel fulfilled with myself, with my life? And they said to me, you have to find how you can be of service to the world, how you can serve the world, give back, help, and you have to make that your mission and work on it every single day. That is the only way you can be truly fulfilled. The businesses, the money won't ever make you feel that way unless they're for the purpose so that you can serve more, so you can help people more, so you can give back more. You have to make that your mission. So then from there, that really changed things. That really, made me think about my life and what I was doing in a whole different perspective. And don't want to go too deep into this whole idea because this video is going to be like an hour long. But essentially, I realized that I was given this opportunity and this life experience by God to have the success and not go to university and all this kind of stuff at a young age, and have these insane experiences, both with money and lifestyle and also spirituality and religion, whatever else. And my mission and my purpose was, and I realized at the time, was that I had to keep pushing myself to my limits in all aspects of life so that I can then kind of like pass that wisdom, that knowledge down that I've gained to people that are younger than me, or people, anybody in general. I have to pass that wisdom down to then help them unlock their potential in life, to help them, grow the same way I did, to give them the same experiences that I had without any of the wasted time or the mistakes or anything like that. So that became my mission. So then from there, I made it a lot more of my mission to help people, to give back, to help other people that were my age or younger or whatever, any age, to start their own business, to change their life, to help them with their mindset. I just did all these things for free. Like I just did it for like 2 years or a year and a half. I was just helping people, had a community, helped around, coached people in different senses for free, jumped on calls, whatever else, taught them how to build a business, taught them how to change their life, what I've learned, gave them my experiences, inspired them, and did the best I could with the place that I was. And also as well, I went to a Tony Robbins event, which is really transformative for me as well, back a year and a half ago or so. And that I had a lot of limiting beliefs at that age. Even though I was doing really well, I always wanted to do better. I wanted to do more. I knew that I was meant for more than just making like 20, 30k a month or something like that. I knew that I wanted to really like have a big impact in the world, make a lot of money, not for the sake of like just for me, but create generational wealth for my family in the future, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, whatever it could be. And I could never really get to the point where I could know that I'm on the path of doing that. And in the Tony Robbins event, I really, and this Tony Robbins guy is a big life coach, just search him up, you'll find him. This event allowed me to really realize the limiting beliefs that I had, and they all stemmed from different things in my childhood. The overarching thing was stemming from the feeling of not being enough, that feeling that I'm not good enough for certain things, and that if that's the whole thing. It's just that whole idea of that I am not good enough. That's where it really comes from, and that's where most entrepreneurs that's why they become entrepreneurs, is because they want to prove to people, they want to prove to themselves, their parents, their friends, the teachers, whatever it may be, that they are good enough. And that's why they work so hard to build a business and make money. But it does come to a point after you've made the money where you think, okay, what's next? This didn't really make me happy. I thought it would, but it didn't. And that's where I reached. And that's why I couldn't really access the next level, couldn't unlock the next level of like, okay, I've made the money now, what do I do now? And going to those events really helped me out, really like allowed me to break past those limiting beliefs that I had of like feeling not good enough. And then, from there, I just kept growing, kept making more money, kept, building that growth partner agency, reached massive numbers with it, alhamdulillah, did really, really well with it. I'll throw out some screenshots of from my Stripe of what I was making with the agency in the past and now. And from there, I also moved to Bali. So I left Dubai in a sense, went from Dubai, moved to Bali. In Bali, I experienced a lot of spiritual growth. I stayed there for around 9 months, experienced a ton of spiritual growth, did different things, different breath works and all this kind of different stuff. I changed my life while I was there. Realised a lot about myself, about how I was holding myself back in my mind. And I'm going to make whole videos on this stuff, so I don't want to go too deep into it now. And yeah, kind of that brings me in some way, it's obviously a very condensed version of it, but that brings me to where I am now, 3 years later, or around that, where I feel completely aligned with my purpose and my mission in life. It's sort of what I just told you before. I know exactly how I'm going to make $1 million, £1 million this year, and then go on to make to become a billionaire by the age of 30. I have the exact vision of how I'm going to get there, the exact path. I know what I'm going to do. I just have to do it. And if you want to know what that path is and what that vision is for me, then you can go watch that video that I posted. I'll leave it at the end. You can just find on my channel. It's called like my plan to become a billionaire, something like that, by 30. And yeah, right now the plan is to build the businesses that I have in mind, the 3-4 businesses that I want to build this year. The main one, after all the success that I've had, like I said, my mission became to help other people, to serve other people, to help them unlock their potential. So I'm building my own online education company called unlockyourpotential.io, and that's going to be my main vehicle to change lives, change thousands of lives this year and in the future for the rest of my life. So that's going to be my biggest company that I'm going to build this year. I'm also going to build 2 new growth partner agencies, and the point of building those 2 new growth partner agencies, even though I have one already, is to document everything from the beginning. Because I realized, even though I can, help people and help, tell them that I've done this so you can do it as well, I knew that when I was 17, I wanted to see somebody who was genuinely doing what they're teaching. Like actually from the start, like they've shown everything that they're doing. Not just like saying, okay, yeah, for example, I've made $1 million. Here's how you can make it too. It's like, I made $1 million, but I'm going to make it again and show you exactly how I'm going to do it. And nobody ever existed like that. There was no guru or guy with a personal brand or YouTube channel that ever did that. And still to this day, there isn't one. So what I'm going to do this year, starting like this year right now, this video is part of that, is to document my whole journey from, I guess you could say, the start again, and build 2 new growth partner agencies from scratch with no money invested. And also the other business that I want to build, so obviously the education company, and also then the company that I want to start later on in the year is going to be an e-commerce brand that I've always dreamt of building. So I'm going to build all of these companies and obviously make at least $1 million this year, and then go on to make tens of millions in the next few years, and then get to $1 billion by 30. And I want to document the whole thing and show you guys exactly how I'm doing it, how it's done, showing me doing it genuinely, like not just saying this is what I'm doing, but showing you me doing it, showing you the failures and the success, the mistakes, the money being made, how I'm doing it, everything. Just show you complete transparency, exactly how I'm building these businesses so that you can do it yourself. And there's no excuse for you. I'm trying to make it so that there's no excuse for all of you to go ahead and do whatever you want with your life and create the reality that you want to create. That is my biggest mission this year, is to build these businesses and then show you all how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, that I'm doing it, and then hopefully that will inspire you, inshallah, to build whatever life you want to build for yourself. Is it build businesses or build a personal brand or whatever it may be. I'm going to do it all, push myself to the limits, like work every single day, and show you exactly what happens and how I'm doing it. So that when I reach, for example, even like I make $1 million this year or reach $1 billion, by the time I'm 30, my little kitten is here. Say hi. But by the time that happens, you can go back and you can watch exactly how I did all of it. That's the goal. And yeah, that's what I'd say. I'm excited now to bring as many people as possible through my personal brand, my YouTube, whatever else. Bring as many people as possible on the journey with me and help them unlock their potential, so that we can all kind of like have a big impact in the world and create this new evolution of entrepreneurs that approach life the right way, that truly realize their potential in life and don't let other people tell them what they can do. That's my mission right now. So yeah, I say the biggest lessons that I can give you, other than what I've said already, from my journey so far, are the first one is live your life as if no one else's judgment, he's come back again, no one else's opinion or judgment matters. Live your life as if nobody else exists. So live in your own world and create your own life. Just whatever life you think you can create it. It's only you that's holding you back. And let nothing external hold you back from doing that. So live your life as if nobody else exists almost, which is what I did when I was 17. I lived in my own world, let nobody else's judgment or criticism or the way they think life should be lived, I let none of that come in the way of me doing what I wanted to do. And that's what allowed me to have the life I have right now, and that's what's going to allow me to have the life that I'm going to have in the next few years and the rest of my life, inshallah. And that can be the same for you. And the next thing I'd say is probably to really practice and really try to be as open as possible. Don't be closed-minded, because if you close your mind off and try and just think that the way that you believe life should be right now is the way that it should be, it's gonna fuck you up, because the way that you think life should be right now is based on what you've been told your whole childhood, what your parents think, what society's told you, what school has told you. So don't think that what you believe is true right now, what's possible is what's actually true in reality. Be open to whatever comes to you. God will give you the right things at the right time, be it people in your life, be it ideas, or even a video that you might come across might be the key to you realizing what you can do with your life. So yeah, just be open, and that's probably the next biggest advice that I can give. So yeah, guys, that's the majority of what I want to talk about today. I could go on for hours, and if you actually do want to hear me go on about different stuff like this for hours, I do have a few podcasts that I've been on where I go really into detail with the lessons that I've learned, my journey, and you can go ahead and watch them. They're on my Instagram. Go to my Instagram right now. Actually, overall, everybody that watches this video, if you've reached this point, I really want to help you out as much as I can. So go over to my Instagram. It's @Kasim_Akram. The link will be in the description, and also I'll leave the exact my username. It's KASIMACKRIM. I'll leave that in the description, in the comments. Go ahead, find me on Instagram, follow me, and then DM me. Let's just connect. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Just let me know what you thought about this video, and if it related to you, what you learned. And if you ever have any questions from now on, just go ahead and ask me. I'm at home right now in Scotland, so I have a lot more time on my plate. I'm building all these companies, so I can just go on my phone every day. If I see your message, I'll send you a voice note back and help you out where I can. So everyone that's watching this video, go ahead and do that right now. Find me on Instagram, follow me on there, DM me on there. Don't hesitate and feel like it's, I don't know, if you want to waste this time, whatever, just go ahead and DM me, and we'll have a conversation, and I can help you out wherever I can and point you in the right direction. And yeah, from there, just if you want to see the journey from now, just subscribe and follow along, and I'll hopefully, all of us together, through the videos that I make, through the stuff that I launch, whatever it could be, the advice that I can give you through DM, hopefully we'll both be able to change our lives forever, and have a real impact in the world, and we can do it together. So I'm excited for life. I'm excited for you. Inshallah, you'll have everything that you dream of having. Just please let nobody come in the way of that. Let nothing come in the way of that, honestly. If you believe that you can do something, just do it. You're capable of doing it. If you believe something, if you have an idea, if you have a thought that you can have a better life than you have right now, that is God telling you that you're capable of that. So don't let anything come in the way of that. That's my biggest advice as well. So yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you subscribe and watch the other videos that I have on my YouTube channel before the next one comes out. And I'll see you on my Instagram. See you.